Hello, hello. I think I'm live. Hi, how is everybody? Hopefully, everybody is doing well. I was actually going ahead and creating something, and then it hit me like, I think a lot of people wonder what I do with AI. I think they think that I am, creating a lot of images and doing a lot of photos and like all the fun things that I put out online. But really, what I do is a lot more complex than that. And so I wanted to just take a quick moment to kind of share a little bit about what it is that I do as an AI consultant. And one of those things is I do AI training. And so I have an AI training that I have coming up, and because of that, I said, I'm working on this presentation. I'm working on the website for it. I'm working on the payment processing for it, like all of those things behind the scenes, which of course I have a little bit more speed to when I do it with AI. And so as I was pulling all that together, I said, there may be some people who just are trying to figure out like, what is it that AI can do as a whole outside of just your typical chat GPT. And so that's why I'm here. So I am live, just kind of going through a little bit of things that I've been working on. So one of the things that I just recently, I would say, probably in the last 3 or 4 days, it hasn't even been that long, is realized that although I'm meeting with business owners and talking to them about their business, and not from a perspective of replacing people with AI, I'm a former human resources person. That's the last thing that I would want to do, or that I even try to put into place. What instead I do is I focus on helping people to get rid of bottlenecks in their process. So maybe it's that they want to have a social media presence, but they just don't have the time to pull together social media. Or maybe it's that they have an email list, they haven't emailed them, or they have a stack of business cards like this, but they haven't put them all into their system yet and have them in their candidate relationship management. So all of those things are bottlenecks to them being able to scale their business and grow their business. And so those are the types of things that I utilize and work with AI to help businesses be able to implement and put things into place. So with that, I realized a lot of business owners are also just nervous about AI as a whole, which totally makes sense. I think most people are nervous about AI as a whole. And so I said, I really need to have I guess you would say, a workshop, right? A way in which I can educate the people who own businesses or are managing businesses about AI, so they know some of the different tools that are out there. And then if they decide that they're interested in pursuing it, going further, things of that nature, then absolutely great. Let's go ahead and move forward, right? And so AI is changing all the time. I think the latest number is every about 2 to 3 months. What we know about AI is shifting and changing and morphing into something bigger or better or brighter. And so because of that, it makes it a little challenging as well for us to be able to keep up with everything. If anybody is commenting or looking or sharing or saying anything, I can't see it because I'm sharing my screen, but I'll go to the other screen where I can see it in a moment. But basically, because of the fact that there are things that are changing at the speed of light, it's hard to keep up with as myself, an AI consultant that focuses on it for most of my day. So I know that business owners who are busy running their business aren't going to be able to focus on what's going on with AI. So that's why I wanted to come up with this AI Unlocked series, where I'm going through, I did this actually, funny enough, for the Powhatan Chamber, where we just collaborated and came up with a way to say, hey, there's things going on with AI. People don't know about it. Do you want to do a training? So did a training. It was great. I had a lot of wonderful and amazing feedback from the business owners that were there. And so I said, instead of taking it on the road per se and going to real estate offices and insurance broker firms and all these different places, instead I said, let me go ahead and do a Zoom so all those people can just show up. Excuse me, we can all just take some time to kind of collaborate, and I can answer their questions, but also share some tools and do all of that from there. So that's how I came up with AI Unlocked. So it started with me in the Powhatan Chamber, just talking through some things. And then I said, I could actually do this on an ongoing basis, and I think it would be beneficial to business owners. So I created this website, which a year ago, if you had told me that I would be developing websites, I would have told you that you are crazy and I wouldn't have known how to go about doing that. But I'm pretty excited about it. I love it. It is basically more like a landing page where it's just like one long form as opposed to each of these sections here taking you to a new spot. It's like you click here, it hops you to the next section of the page, but really you can scroll up and down and see the entire page. So that's kind of how that works. But very excited. I've created websites too where you click and it goes deeper and deeper. My own personal website is like that. But this is a landing page because this is basically a sales funnel, right? So I'll start because this is new. I just finished this program yesterday. But basically I will start marketing this. And as I market it, I will funnel or direct people to this particular page. Once they come to this page, they'll read the information on it. If it's for them, great. If it's not for them, great. But they'll make their decision of, hey, I'm looking at this. She's talking about the tools for business. She's talking about that it'll be 2 hours. What's she going to be going over? Okay, who is this for? What do you need? Oh, she's going over 10 different AI tools. I didn't even know there were 10 different AI tools. Maybe that's what a business owner would see or think or say when they were looking at this. And then I talk about the different types of tools that I'll go into and some more. They'll leave with their own custom GPT that I've personally created that can help them in regards to communicating with AI. And the one part I still have to do, which is why I decided to go live, is I am working on a video that I want to embed in the middle of this webpage. So that way, if they want additional information, find out a little more, just hear from me, get familiar with who I am and that I know what I'm talking about, basically, for a lack of a better way of saying it. But, giving them a little bit of an opportunity to know before they invest whether or not this is a person that they want to hear from. And I know I'm not going to be for everybody, and that's totally okay. So therefore, hey, yes, I like what Lenore's talking about. Yes, she seems like a trustworthy person. Yes, she sounds like somebody who knows what she can educate me on, and she's up on the latest trends. So let me go ahead and invest, right? Or no, she's covering something a little too high level for me. I'm not ready for that just yet, which I try to cover everything from a perspective of a brand new person who's never even opened ChatGPT before, because a lot of people haven't, or if they have, they've just done, surface things with it. So all of my trainings always come with a way to do it that is very user-friendly and introductory. And so based on that note, I have to create the video. So what I said is that, all right, if I'm creating this video, I can start from scratch or I could use AI. So of course, I'm going to use AI. So what I did, and I don't know if a lot of people know you can do this, but I have a MacBook. And what I did is I went to this section here. I downloaded a extension. So this is a Chrome extension, and there's a Claude Chrome extension here. So some of these are really fun, and I have a spell check one here. I have one for Meta for when I run Facebook ads. I have just a bunch of different Chrome extensions. So this particular one allows Claude, which is like another version of ChatGPT with Anthropic as opposed to OpenAI, but it allows Claude to look at my entire page and analyze it and look at what is showing on this page. And I can go to any page on the internet and open up this little extension and it will analyze it for me. And so since this is my own page, I said, okay, Claude, I don't know if you'll see the message here, but I said, I would like to come up with a presentation outline bullets based on this website. So based on my website that I developed, can you come up with presentation information that I can then later today go through, record, and then embed into this presentation so that the business owners can see and hear from me. Excuse me, I think my allergies are acting up for some reason today. And so based on that, it says, oh, well, here we go. Well, first it did ask me if it could get some permission from me for something. I can't remember what that was, but it asked me if it had permission from me to do it. And I said, yes. So then after I said yes, it said, okay, so AI unlocked, it goes through everything. And then it's literally giving me the entire details. So it's telling me here's the introduction that you can say, and, things you might want to cover, that AI is no longer just for tech companies, but it's a practical tool. Everyday businesses use it. There's a faster path to being able to get everything done. Who's it for? And it gives me bullets. Now, mind you, for the who's it for, right? Who is this for? It went and it looked at this part right here. Who is it for? And so it's basically breaking everything down and making sure that I know to kind of speak to that, what you'll learn. So what I want to do is take this as like a foundation. I don't want to repeat everything that they can read on this page into what I'm going to embed in the video. But at the same time, I know some people are auditory and visual learners. Some people like to read, where some people don't. They like to watch a video. I know I'm personally like the videos now. When I'm learning a new tool, I'm going to go to YouTube and learn the new tool versus maybe reading a bunch of Reddits, about the tool. So for me, I like the video aspect of it. So although I won't use all of this information, I will use some of this to help those people who want to see more of what it is that I'll be doing versus just read more about it. But this goes on and on and on and talks about a lot of the different things that I have on this page. So for someone who doesn't know and is not familiar with AI, I think this is a great way to get an introductory kind of way of knowing some of the capabilities of what AI can do for the things that you're just already doing every single day. If I had not used AI, I would have had to go through and say, okay, so based on what I have on this page, what are the things that I want to make sure that I'm covering, right? What are the things that I want to make sure that I'm making somebody aware of? And go from there, where now I can literally take this information that Claude came up with me, for me. I can copy it. I can take it over to, let's just say, a Google Doc. Lately, I've been using Notion a lot. So that's another AI tool, but I'll go to Google Doc because I think that's a little bit more familiar with people. And then I can just paste that in. And then here I have all the information that it came up with. I can now pick and choose and decide exactly what it is that I want to use from all of this, what I'm not going to use from all of this, and go from there. And I can create a presentation in less than a minute. So like if most of you aren't familiar, instead of you now taking this information and saying, okay, now I have to create a PowerPoint and that'll take me 2 or 3 hours to create that. No, no. What I do is I take this information and use a different AI tool and plug it into there. So let's say, for example, I decide that of this, the other thing I could do, if I really want to be technical, is I can plug this into, because I was already in Claude, but I'll just show you this if you didn't see the extension on the side. So let's say I was just in Claude, right? So I can go to this and I can say, because I'm going to use a tool called Gamma, Gamma, and I can say, create this presentation outline as a prompt for Gamma. And then what it will do is it'll analyze all the information. It'll figure out the best way to actually, what it wants to do is create the presentation itself. So let me stop that because I forgot we're dealing with Claude. And when you deal with Claude, Claude can do so many things. It can do the presentation itself. Totally forgot that that's the case of what it would want to do. It's going to be like, yeah, you want me to do this in Gamma, but I can do this myself. Let me go ahead and plug into Canva, which I've plugged my Claude into Canva, so that's a separate thing. But anyway, so it was going to work with Canva to kind of come up with the presentation itself. So, but I had already had in my mind, I wanted to show y'all how to use Gamma because everybody's not having all of these tools like your ChatGPT, your Claude, your Google Gemini, all of that. They have extensions or they have plugins. They have tools that you can connect to them, right? And everybody doesn't have those tools connected. So like if you go here and you can look and you can connect skills, you can connect connectors, and you can see the different ones I've connected, and everybody doesn't have those. So I want to show from a perspective of what everybody would be able to do. So I'm going to take and go back And I'm going to go to the original presentation. I'm going to copy this again. I was getting ready to get a little too technical. And then what I'm going to do is go to Gamma. And then I am going to create a presentation, which I've created so many, but I'll just click that I'm going to create a new one. Now, I think you can use this for free but it will only go up to, I think, 8 slides if you're using it for free. I'm not using it for free, but I feel like it's $8 or $10 a month. It's not that expensive for the amount of time that it saves me, and you'll see what I mean in just a second. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to paste the text here where it says paste text. And this is the presentation. Now I'm going to delete this because I don't need this to be one of the pages, right? I'm going to go ahead and bring that up. So this will be the main page. All of these dashes are additional pages that it would create. So this is showing that it would only be 2 pages, which I don't want that to be the case. So after each of these, I'm going to do dash, 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 and then kind of enter, and then that will create a new section. So if I do dash, 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 yeah, there we go. So then these will be new pages in my presentation. You get the point. I won't keep going. I'm just going to, for the sake of showing this, I'm just going to delete and start right there so that way you can see how this is coming together for me as a presentation for me to read off of and do a screen share like I'm doing right now and be able to educate the business owners. And so here, what I'm going to do is say that I want to generate an outline. It doesn't have to be exactly like what is written here, bullet for bullet. If I wanted to do that, I would say preserve, but instead, I don't know, let's just say, let's say summarize, like it'll do a version of it, right? So let's do that and say continue. And then these are this is what I'm doing like anyway. The only difference is that I'm just making it slightly shorter for time's sake than what I would actually be doing. So once I end this, I'm going to go back to that same thing that I copied from Claude. I'm just going to read through it more thoroughly, see exactly what I want to keep from that, delete things that I don't want to keep from that, and then go through the same process again. So, all right. And so we're going to go with detailed. Yeah, we'll stick with detailed. And then you can even pick what kind of theme you want. So you have all these different themes that you can pick from of how you want your presentation to look. And so you can just decide. I'll just go with something kind of basic. As soon as you click on it, you can see how that looks. Just depends. Ooh, kind of like the teal. So let's go with that. So select a theme. Then I keep scrolling. I can decide what kind of images I want, if I wanted to use AI images or if I wanted to use website images. So I'll stick with the AI images. And then even for that, I can say, do I want it more abstract? Do I want it more like an actual, looks like a photo, those types of things. So I'll just leave that where it's at. That's what I typically do. And that's going to be that. So we have the words, we have the style, we have the theme. So now I'm going to generate, and then it's going to have 5 cards total. And instead of me creating a PowerPoint, this is what it's going to do in a matter of seconds. So it's thinking, it's reading, and then here we go. AI unlocked, practical, different things. Ooh, I'll change the font on that. I don't like the G's. But anyway, so then you just go through and like this fast, it's creating a presentation. Like lightning speed. I can't even keep up with it. What you walk away with, like I couldn't have even said it as fast as what it did. And then we're done. So there is absolutely no reason for me to continue to use PowerPoint for that matter and take the time to copy and paste and plug in and do all of those things when this made it in, I said a minute, less than a minute, but I think it was less than 20 seconds. And so with that, now I can decide, ooh, don't like this picture. I can either get rid of it altogether, or I could say, let's go ahead and edit the picture. Like, let's edit it. Let's call it something else. Let's do something else with it. Maybe I want to take it here and edit it, and I can go over here and figure out how I want to explain it a little bit better, or have it create all new images, or maybe I want to upload my own image from my computer. So those are the types of things that it can do. But basically, if I realize, like with this theme, I liked the theme, but I don't like the font. And I can go in and to each section and change the font, or I could just go up here and say theme and then go and change the theme. So now I like it much better. So I've changed the entire scope of how it actually looked outside of the words and the what the words actually say uh, and the images, but I changed it to make it look better. So for me, I think that this is like game changing things. Like, yes, I put fun photos and things like that on Facebook, but that is like 2% of what I do with AI on a day-to-day basis. So typically what I'm doing is things like this, whether I'm creating something for myself or for business owners. Again, it's chatbots and voice concierge. I have my own AI receptionist who books appointments, and another one that is in my inbox. I actually was told recently to create my org chart for my, even though I'm a solopreneur, but my org chart for my business, so that way you all can see all the agents that I have doing things behind the scenes. One of them is texting me all the time. His name is Sage. And so Sage is my AI agent, and he's constantly sending me messages, telling me what's going on in my inbox, what I need to reply to, what he's already replied or drafted a reply to. And he's just letting me know that I, need to go ahead and do something with it. So there's a lot of moving parts when it comes to what's going on with AI. And so on that note, I just wanted to, like I said, just take a moment to come out here and share a little bit about some of the fun things that I have been doing. If you have any questions about any of that, let me know. If you have any business owners that you're aware of who are interested in maybe just understanding AI better, not necessarily implementing anything just yet, but just wanting to get a better understanding, by all means, just let me know. I'll be definitely willing to share the information with them, or you can share my AI Unlocked with them. It's just called www.aiunlockedworkshop.com. So the workshop. I'm trying to think. Oh, and if you're just individual person who's not a business owner, today I was going down the rabbit hole of the business owner, but if you're just a person who wants to know, couple of options. One, if you're in Powhatan County, I have the Powhatan County Library. It's coming up next Wednesday, 5:30. Be sure to show up there. I'll probably put some flyers and things like that on my page pretty soon. And then the other thing is you can always do my AI Summit. So that is on Sundays at 7. You can join the AI Summit. That's at intro-to-aisummit.com. You can go there, and then that way you'll be able to find out about just the introductory things about AI, the foundations, how long it's been around, what it is, how it works, what we need to be nervous about or not, all of those things I cover, because although I go over everything regarding AI and I am an AI consultant, I know that my focus is teaching people on how to use AI for good. Because with anything, there's always going to be people who are going to try to use it for bad. So the way that I teach everything is from a perspective of using it for good. So on that note, everybody, I'm going to go ahead and really work on this presentation and get the video embedded into the presentation, and then have everything go officially live. So have a great day. Talk to you soon. Bye.